Hello, Valley Middle School of STEM. This is Mr. Martin, and I'm excited today to welcome you to our first STEMS Day Challenge. Today, you and every other advisory in this building is going to be designing, building, and launching straw rockets using the materials that we provide for you. Now, the STEMS Day challenges allow us to walk you through our STEM collaborative design process. You have probably seen posters of this throughout all of your classrooms in the building, and this is kind of our process we use for solving problems. We're going to start today with the challenge and work all the way through each step of the process. First step of our collaborative design process is the challenge. So today, your challenge is, first, in small groups of 3 people, you're going to have to design and build a rocket that can hit a target that is 10 to 15 feet away. Constraints of this project is that you must first use the balloon pump that you see in the bottom right corner here. That is going to be your power source. It's going to pump air into the straw and launch it. You can also only use the materials that we have provided for you. That is 1 straw for each of you, a stack of paper, and some masking tape. That is your challenge. Once you have the challenge, now your next step is going to be the imagine step. So in your groups of 3, you're going to talk to each other. You're going to look at the materials that we have. You're going to observe, wonder, brainstorm some ideas about how you're going to construct this rocket. So what are you going to do with the 3 materials we have given for you? Maybe talk to your group about what the fins should look like, how many of them you should have, where you should place them. What are you going to do about the nose cone? Because the straw can't stay open, you have to close the top of it. Maybe go look at the target area that you're going to set up in your classroom. Maybe look at where the launch point is. Talk to each other about launch angles. Think about some other things that you might have to brainstorm or decide about before you actually start building your rocket. After you have brainstormed, we move on to the next step of our process, which is the design step. During this, by yourself with a sheet of paper, you're going to choose some of the ideas that you brainstormed with your group, and you're going to sketch out a picture of what your rocket will look like. Notice the example on the screen here. I've labeled in where I'm going to put the fins, what they're made out of, what my plan is for making the nose cone. It doesn't have to be a perfect sketch, doesn't have to be beautiful. Just sketch out something, and it helps get those thoughts from your brain down onto paper before you start creating. Speaking of creating, once you have designed, your next step is to actually create the rocket. And you're going to do this individually. So every single one of you, even though you did the brainstorming as a group, every single one of you is going to make a rocket. And you're going to make them based on the design that you sketched out before. Now remember, you can only use 1 straw, the paper that we have provided, and masking tape. You can have no other objects or additions to your rocket, at least for the start. That's part of the challenge. After you have spent time and created your rocket, now we're going to do 2 steps simultaneously. We're going to try it out, and we're going to evaluate how it worked. Before you launch your rocket, teachers, or perhaps even a student who's ready to go, you need to prepare the balloon pump that I have provided. First, you're going to take the little straw. It's a narrow, clear one that is actually packaged in paper. You're going to take it out, and you're going to make 2 cuts on the bottom of it, and you're going to tape it to the tip of the balloon pump. This will allow the rocket of the bigger neon straws to fit over the top and makes it easier to launch it straight. Use some of the tape provided to make sure it's secured to it. Once your balloon pump is ready to go, each of you gets to go test your rocket. First, pull the balloon pump handle out. If you do it after the fact, it's going to launch the rocket prematurely. Put your rocket over the launcher, aim at the target. Remember, we talked a little bit about brainstorming launch angles. So should you aim it straight up to the ceiling? It's perfectly flat. Think about what some of the best ways would be to get the most distance out of your rocket. When you're ready, you're just going to Squeeze the handle or push the handle and the nozzle towards each other and launch the rocket. While it's floating majestically in the air, collect some data and gather some information. Now, this is more observational, what you're seeing with your eyes and not really measuring data, but look at how well the rocket worked. Did it fly wonderfully through the air? Did it crash horrifically to the ground? Think about what you can do to fix your rocket. That's part of the evaluation. Now you go back and make those changes. Modify it, change the fins, change the nose cone, anything you think you need to do to make the rocket work better. Then you can go back and retest. And you can do this as many times as you have time for during this activity. Once everyone has launched their rockets, it's time for our last step of the STEM design process, which is the share out phase. As a class, I want you all to discuss what worked in this activity. Did your rocket work well? Did it not work? Why do you think that is? What are some observations you made about your rocket or perhaps other people's rockets in the class? What are some other wonderings that you might have? Share these out with each other with the help of your teacher. After this, next you have to do some cleaning. So get all of the supplies that are left, throw away stuff that you don't need, and then just put everything back into the container, and I will come pick them up later this afternoon. I've posted a link down here for the teacher to click on for a little help in getting everyone to clean up. This is kind of a suggested schedule. You're going to need both your activity and advisory to do this. So you can spend about 5 minutes imagining and about 5 minutes designing. The bulk of what we're doing is going to be the actual constructing, the testing, the evaluating. Don't forget to save a little bit of time to share and, of course, time to clean up. Good luck, Valley Middle School of STEM engineers. I hope your rockets go well. I look forward to seeing what you can do. As always, please don't forget to like and subscribe the video. Bye.